Okay, so why in the world do we say an honest man, but then turn right around and say a university? If you rely on what you were taught in primary school, this makes absolutely no sense. Honest starts with a consonant, yet it gets an an. University starts with a vowel, yet it gets an a. It's a huge contradiction that trips up native speakers and learners alike. So I want you to try and solve this mystery in your head right now as we get started. Welcome to This Explainer. I am super thrilled you're here because today we are going to permanently dismantle literally the biggest, most stubborn grammar myth you were probably taught as a kid. We're going to master the article an by uncovering the true logic of the English language. You can forget everything you thought you knew about A, E, I, O, U because we are replacing it with a completely foolproof system today. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, the biggest grammar myth. Second, the H and U logic. Third, decoding abbreviations. Fourth, the ultimate rule comparison. And finally, we'll test your knowledge. All right, let's dive right into section 1. The biggest grammar myth, spelling versus sound. So that fake rule, the one we all dutifully memorized as kids, says if a word starts with the letters A, E, I, O, or U, use an. Well, if you've been relying on this, you've actually been falling into a massive trap. The real rule is that articles do not depend on the letter you see at all. They depend entirely on the sound you hear. We use N before singular, countable nouns that begin with a vowel sound. English might only have 26 letters, but it's the phonetic sounds they make that actually dictate the grammar here. Moving on to section 2, the H and U logic, silent letters and traps. This completely proves the pronunciation rule. Take an honest man. Visually, sure, it starts with an H, which is a consonant letter, but say it out loud with me. Honest. Notice how the H is completely silent? The very first sound that actually leaves your mouth is an O sound, which is a vowel sound. Therefore, it has to be an honest man. Now, compare that to a house. In house, that H is forcefully pronounced. It's a hard consonant sound, so it simply gets an A. The starting letter is exactly the same, but that hidden vowel sound completely changes the rules. Now, let's look at the letter U, because this one is incredibly deceptive. Take the word umbrella. Say it out loud. Umbrella. The first sound is That is a classic clear vowel sound, so it gets an. But think about a university. Why isn't it an university? Well, because when you say university, you are actually making a consonant Y sound. You're literally saying university. Because that invisible Y sound is a consonant, the rule forces us to use a. It totally defies the visual spelling on the page. Which brings us to section 3, decoding abbreviations, making sounds visible. Abbreviations are basically the ultimate trap, right? But here is a foolproof 4-step method so you never get one wrong again. We basically have to make the invisible sound visible. Step 1, look at your abbreviation. Let's use MBA. Step 2, in your head, slowly spell out the exact pronunciation of that first letter. How do you actually say M? You say M, E-M. Step 3, identify the very first sound of that phonetic spelling. M starts with an E sound. And step 4, apply the rule. Since E is a vowel sound, it absolutely must be an MBA. So even though M is a consonant letter, its phonetic name starts with a vowel sound. Okay, section 4, the ultimate rule comparison, your master cheat sheet. And this brilliantly illustrates everything we've talked about so far. I want you to take a mental screenshot of this matrix. It perfectly summarizes the core differences. Look at the H words. A house, because the H is pronounced, but an hour, because the H is silent, creating an ow vowel sound. Then the U words, a university, because of that hidden Y consonant sound, but an umbrella for the vowel sound. And finally, those tricky abbreviations. A member, because the word member starts with an consonant sound, but an MLA, because the standalone letter M is pronounced M, starting with a vowel. Honestly, this matrix is your ultimate anchor. All right, let's wrap things up with section 5, test your knowledge, an active recall quiz. Let's see if you've mastered this. Here's your first trick question. He is blank FBI officer. Think about the rule we just learned. Apply the steps. What do you actually hear? The answer is an FBI officer. Why? Well, because you take the first letter of the abbreviation F and say it out loud. F. The very first sound leaving your mouth is the vowel E. Therefore, an FBI officer. Okay, question 2. She attends blank university. Don't let your eyes trick you on this one. It's a university. Even though it starts with the vowel letter U, the sound you hear is a consonant Y, like university. Remember, we have to rely on what we hear, not what we see. Next up, question 3. It is blank, honest mistake. Think about how that first letter actually sounds. The answer is an honest mistake. The H is completely silent, leaving us with a clear, strong O vowel sound right at the front of the word. Silent letters will always shift the article. Let's try another tricky abbreviation for question 4. They filed blank FIR. Walk through those 4 steps in your head. It is an FIR. Just like the FBI example earlier, the letter F is pronounced F, which means you are starting with a vowel sound. Spelling out the pronunciation in your head is just absolutely key to beating these abbreviations. And here we are at our 5th and final trick question for this explainer. We waited for blank hour. The answer is an hour. Once again, the H takes a total backseat. It stays completely silent, and we're left with the vowel sound ow. If you nailed these, huge congratulations. You have successfully rewired your brain and completely mastered the logic behind this grammar rule. I want to leave you today with this golden mantra. Don't see the letter. Hear the sound. It fundamentally changes how you interact with the English language. Next time you're writing an email, giving a presentation, or honestly just having a conversation, I challenge you to catch yourself relying on this sound rule instead of your old spelling habits. Language is meant to be spoken, meant to be heard, so keep listening closely because it kind of makes you wonder, right? What other hidden grammar rules are sitting right in front of your eyes, just waiting to be debunked by your ears? We'll see you in the next explainer.